long run. In fact, one of the crews that I talked to was that of the 24 of William Byron. Talked to Rudy Fugle, his crew chief, and I asked him, what do you want to make out of this? And he goes, well, we got some things we want to try, but once we have it close, we really want that long run. Steve, I know you know, if you can get a long run and confirm the things that you're believing through some little ins and outs here in practice, then you know you might have a good shot for a great car in the race.
Yeah, great car in the race. What's interesting is, you know, we normally, I say normally, let's go back, pre-COVID. Practice was normal. So practice was about this week and this weekend. This is a little bit of practice and almost a little bit of testing, as odd as that seems. The last time the Cup Series had an extended practice on a downforce style oval was all the way back at Phoenix with the different rules package. So I know the 24 is focused on Nashville, but are there one or two things that they're seeing in the computer and seeing in, you know, the simulation that they just want to put on the car and let William feel it? Even if they're not going to use it this week, will it help them later into the year? So you would think 50 minutes would all be about Nashville, but it wouldn't shock me if somebody like Rudy Fugle just has one thing or a couple things he just wants to get on the car maybe later in practice after he proves it's working here in preparation for later in the season.
And I think also, looking at this race last year, now this is a wide racetrack. You see the rubber on the racetrack way up into the middle and third groove. You want to be able to run there, but I think you're finding where your car can work on the bottom of the racetrack, how quickly it can get around the bottom of the racetrack. What are the problems with the car as it rolls through the center of the corner, running that lower lane? Let's work on those things. You're going to go to the top of the racetrack is almost a defense, right? If your car's working on the bottom, that's where you want to be. That's where this race is going to be won as we run this race later in the day. So I think you go out there, you run the bottom of the racetrack, and then if you make a couple laps up high to make sure nothing's too crazy up there. For the most part, you're working on this balance, and you see all these guys right now, even though there is grip and there's rubber up in that higher groove, nobody's up there testing it out just yet.
There's Chase right there. You mentioned the injury right behind him, the 42. Great to see Noah Gregson. Noah back in the car after out a few weeks after that big hit. I think it was St. Louis.
Yeah, he missed one race at
Sonoma
last week, and a quick return for Noah, which is good to see.
Yeah, some rotor failures that we saw on multiple cars, but this one right here, I'm not sure there could be a worse spot right at the end of the straightaway corner entry. You see just really, really, really hard contact to the back of the car, the left side. I mean, look at the damage to the car. You could tell, obviously, shaking up. And then we, as you said, Dale, had to set out Sonoma.
That off week helping Noah get back behind the wheel here.
I got to applaud Noah for waving his hand, saying, hey, I need to get this checked out. The culture in this garage has changed quite a bit over the last several years, and it's good to see the younger drivers making those decisions as well. You know, the veterans are going to be smarter, and this guy here, he has the rest of his career in front of him. That's the decision you need to make to assure that you will have that opportunity going forward to get back in the car and get to winning races.
So much more education and understanding about the importance and danger of head injury. And Junior, you had a lot to do with that. You raising your hand and saying, hey, I'm not good enough to drive, gave a lot of other people the confidence that they could do the same. It is important. It is, you know, safety is paramount. It's, you have a long career. You just cannot do something silly. Although we always did, you know, we did, but it's great that that culture's changing.
Seeing a lot of cars. We're about 7 or 8, 9 laps into this practice for a lot of the cars, and got a couple of Toyotas at the top of the board. The Toyotas were so good here last year, and they've been really on a tear here lately, especially with Truex there, who's second on the board. 23 here of Bubba Wallace has always been fast at Nashville. A lot of pit road issues have caused him not to be able to get the results in the races. But this guy right here, he's fastest in practice last year. Messed up in qualifying, drove toward the front in the race, had some more issues on pit road. Could be fast again this weekend. Right now, 5th on the sheet.
I'm going to tell you something. There was a lot of comments and concerns and questions about when Tyler Reddick joined this team, could Bubba keep up? The answer is yes. He has kept up. He has matched the speed of Tyler Reddick, in my opinion. He has you know, the best finishes in the last 5 races for 23-11. He has 4 top 5s this year. He had 5 all last year. I do think that Bubba Wallace has stepped his game up, and a lot of people questioned if he could or not, but he's made it clear this year that he can.
Making his 200th start. So.
Yeah, surprising too. I mean, I watched Bubba grow up in the Truck Series, move into the Xfinity Series, run there. Almost surprised me when I saw the number 200 start in the Cup Series for Bubba.
For him or you, Rick, did you feel like you said 200 was a lot for Bubba? Or are you starting to feel like?
Yeah, I felt old when I was like, man, he's made 200 starts in the Cup Series.
I remember a point in his career where he wasn't even sure whether he was going to get that opportunity.
Yep.
Right, so to get to 200 is pretty cool.